Welcome to Inspire Me Monday. I'm Allison Cope, and today we're going to be making a freestanding pop-up card. And these are some of our supplies. Let's get to it.
First you need is your card base, and this is a piece of cardstock 4 1/4 by 11 inches. You're also going to need a tag mat, which is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then you're also going to need the tag aspect, which is 2 1/2 by 5. And this is going to be set upon the tag part that pulls out. I also cut another piece because I'm going to place it on the back of our tag so that I have room to write a message to my recipient. Let's start by scoring our card base. Card base needs to be scored at 1 inch. I'm just going to go down my score lines twice just to make sure that they're firm. 2 3/4 inches, 3 3/4 inches, 5 1/2, 7 1/4, 8 1/4, and 10. All right, perfect. On to the next step. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your center score line, and what you're going to do is you're going to measure in 5/8 of an inch and just put a little tick mark, and you're going to do that from both sides. So I'm actually going to put it there, and there we go. So 2 tick marks on your center score line. Next, I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and what you're going to do is you're going to put your cutting blade on either side of that score line. You're going to cut a very thin sliver out of both sides of the score line. So for instance, right now that score line is sitting right on the cutting line, so I'm going to move it over just a touch. And I'm going to stand up here so I can see where my blade needs to go. There we go. So one little cut line. And then I'm going to do the same. We're going to move it to the other side. I'm going to come in just a touch. I want it fairly even on both sides. I'm just checking. So I'm going to plunge it in the middle. And we're going to go all the way there. So there we go. We've got 2 parallel lines. And this is where you need your craft knife. Since this is a self-healing mat, you're just going to, you can use your trimmer to do this too. I'm just going to cut across and make sure that this piece of paper here will come out. So there we go. Of course, if you have some jagged edges like I do, you can always take a little sander. I'm not sure if this will fit through here or not. I'm just going to sand, and you can also take it to the back. Okay. And I would recommend cutting it from the back and not the front, just because you don't have to erase your pencil lines because it's going to be on the inside, but I happen to do it the other way. But do it from the back. All right, on to the next step. So now we're going to decorate our base, and I'm going to use some like tone on tone. So I'm going to use some Fiesta Blue, and I've picked a variety of images. So I have the champagne flutes from Dream Wedding. I have the tea in the garden. I have the little cup, the little daisy, and the strawberry. I also have picked from the potted primroses the little pot here and the single bloom. I just picked a variety of images that were fun. And this is the Soothing Sympathy. I have the butterfly and the pretty little forget-me-not flowers. And last of all, I have the birthday cake on the plate from Party Time. So let's get stamping here. I put everything on blocks because I think it's just easier. Now, the panel that's right here, that is the very top of your card. So that's going to be the most visible. So just know that that is going to be the top. So whatever your images you kind of want to be prominent, put them there. So we have our champagne flutes. We have our little teacup with the lemon wedge. I'm going to put the birthday cake up here too, like so. There we go. Let's see, we'll do the little pot of primroses. We'll do it on the other side. And the only flaps that you are not going to see are the two end ones. So you don't necessarily have to stamp over those. I've got our little forget-me-not sprig here. Let's go, we will go slightly off the edge there. Just a tiny bit. There we go. We need a butterfly. And let's put her right there. And we've got our single primrose. Maybe we'll put our butterfly on the primrose. That's kind of fun. What haven't we used? Oh, we've got our tiny little strawberry, which kind of fills the empty spaces. So we'll put another strawberry on that side. And then we've got our little teeny daisy as well, which maybe we'll put in that gap. And let's see, one over there. And then just spread it all the way out. And there we go. All right, now we're going to work on the tag portion of our freestanding pop-up. So we have a base, and we have a decorative piece, and we also have a piece that's going to go on the back, and we're going to do stamping on this first before we go any farther. And close and press, and there we go. And that's all done. So I'm going to adhere the designer paper to my card base. I tend to put a fair amount of adhesive on my layers just because I like to know that they're going to stick. So once again, your card base, which in my case is the scallop die cut, is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. That's the tag mat. And then the designer paper is 2 1/2 by 5. And I'm going to then adhere this to the back of my tag. Again, I'm going to center it, just folding over the extra glue extra adhesive that's come off the sides. I've used a fairly lightweight paper for this to make it thinner. And I've already done our decorative piece. This is from the Under Glass stamp set. I've added a little bit of sparkle to it already, so it's had time to dry. And this is going to go kind of towards the top on our tag. Don't put anything along the bottom. You could put a greeting underneath this. I think there's enough space. But remember, you're not going to see that bottom inch. So it's just a cute little stack of teacups with a cupcake in the tallest cup there. So there we go. And it's colored just using some of the colors from our pattern paper. So let's now put this together. Alright, so I've gone and used my bone folder and creased all of my score lines, made them nice and pressed nice and flat. Okay, so for the time being, we're going to kind of set the stamp side down, and you're going to take your now finished and decorated tag, and you just have to figure which side of the paper you want for your decorated side, and it honestly doesn't matter. Okay, and you're going to stick this little fella through. Okay, now what I've already done on the two 1-inch ends, I have placed our heavy-duty Score Pal tape. You can use wet glue, but it may ooze, so I would recommend a dry adhesive. So I put a strip at the bottom and a strip at the top of that particular 1-inch. Okay, I've peeled off my backer, and now what you're going to do is you're going to take the bottom of this and, aiming to center the top of it within the hole, you're going to bring down that tag to that bottom part where your adhesive is now ready to go, and you're going to place the tag right to that score line. Give it a good press. Okay, now it's stuck. Now we're going to sandwich it in. So I'm going to push this in to there, and then I've done the same thing with my score tape. I've done it along the edge and along, just butting against the score line, and we're going to sandwich it basically in between. I'm going to turn it around here. So what you can do is kind of tuck this back, and you're going to match up those two score lines, those two 1-inch score lines. Make sure your sides are even, they're not, and then you're going to press it together. So you've created a sandwich. See, you're sandwiching here. So they're now sandwiched together, and that's how your card actually stands up. See that? Now you can play with this a bit. And that's pretty much it. Gives you room to write to your recipient. You can lay it flat and still write, and you're good to go. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I hope you've learned a new card technique, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.